But they had a problem. They needed to take the Chinese lockdown model to destroy the independent livelihoods of vast numbers of people. But because the virus didn't exist, they couldn't produce the dead people. This is why for a long time through this so-called pandemic, until the figures went up because of all the people who were dying because of the lockdown, not COVID-19, the figures were the same as other years. Oh, COVID-19, COVID-19, well, what's happening? And there was a wonderful kind of graph I saw where COVID-19 figures were going up, and at the same time, people dying of other things in other years, they were going down, right, this year. So it was obvious what was going on, re-diagnosis. But they couldn't produce the people who were dying to justify that this was a deadly disease. So what they did, and what they've done with human-caused climate change, is what the whole nonsense is based on, is they create computer models. And the computer models come out of, I would say, a notorious organization called Imperial College in London, and a bloke called Professor Neil Ferguson. And he, I mean, you know, you talk to people who've worked in computer modeling, and you hear what they say on the internet and stuff about it, and they say it's so easy to fix because what you put in is what is processed to come out. So if you put certain data in, the computer's going to process it, and it's going to give you a projection that's not true, but based on the data you've put in. So the reason that ice caps are still there and New Yorkers are not swimming down Madison Avenue is because it was all based on computer models to get what you wanted out to dictate policy and the direction of human society, and you do that by what you put in. So they played the same scam with the pandemic. They didn't have the dead people to justify that it's a deadly virus. So what they do is they say, well, no, they're not dying now, but it's coming. And so they produce computer models. This, if you remember, Brian, Johnson, who is now completely owned by these people, but at that time, he was kind of pushing back.
It's Boris Johnson, our Prime Minister. Yeah.
The British Prime Minister. He was pushing back. He didn't want to close the schools. It wasn't him that shut the soccer down, the football leagues. It was the football leagues that did, not Johnson. And then Professor Neil Ferguson, who has an unbelievable record of being wrong, came out with a projection from his computer model. Press enter. And it was that up to 500,000 British people could die from this virus.
I remember. And it scared the hell out of everyone.
And that up to 2 million could die in America, because these Ferguson models went out, not just Britain. Johnson immediately cancelled the laxative order, because obviously they were saying to him, Mr. Prime Minister, the only way to deal with this is the Chinese model. It worked in China, so we must have a lockdown, just like China, to stop this happening. And if you don't, Mr. Prime Minister, you're going to be responsible for all these dead people. Same pressure's been put on Trump in America, though there's a lot more to know about Trump. And so we had the lockdown. And the lockdown's been done in stages. It's got more kind of deeper, but they had the lockdown. So they'd achieved what the whole idea was, the idea being two major things. One, destroy the independent livelihood of billions of people. And two, keep the lockdown going in some form for as long as you can, and then say to them, as Gates has already said, I did mention he was a psychopath, didn't I? Normalcy will not be able to return until the whole world is vaccinated. So these are the two main things.